Hey, Sheldon, how you doing, man? Well, another beautiful day to draw. Yes.
Emergency, Action Plumbing to the rescue. Anytime, anywhere. Action Plumbing.
Panda, what's up, dude? Sheldon, I know I counted them out the other day, but I honestly did not commit to memory what count of pages it was. And I'm not keeping count. I'm just making the pages to tell the story. So probably, maybe, like I don't have these numbered out. Like I'm working on page whatever. I'm just drawing the story like I've said before, and in whatever way that is needed. So I'm not paying attention to page count yet. So I don't know. It's something like that. That sounds right. Panda, yes, and I would highly recommend if you're going to make a book and print it up or something like that, don't leave any blank pages, especially on the inside front or back cover. I mean, one, the inside, I mean, even if it's just text, like have something. The inside front cover, it's easy enough to just put text in there, your name, story pencil, story art, pencils, inks, whatever, however you want to list it. And then social media links, things like that. And then you could say something to the reader. Thank you for getting my book. I highly recommend. I'm always a fan of say something, but even if you don't want to do that, don't leave it blank. Like, why waste the space? Do you even have any just sketch of anything if you wanted to put art there? But again, it doesn't have to be art. It just, I think, you know, just text of some type. But I would, it to me, it would stand out and it would bug me if there is a blank page there for no reason. Yeah, right, Sheldon. Counting is for nerds. How's it going, LL River? Yeah, you are paying for the space. But again, it does even just have some text of some type, if nothing else. That's also not one of the reasons I draw a bunch of pinups, but I have tons of extra illustrations all over the place. So if I'm putting my book together and I need an extra page to hit the even page count, I'll just throw in a pinup of something I've done, just extra artwork, just for fun. I mean, why not? In my opinion, why not just have more art? If people are picking up my stuff and they're enjoying it, here's just some extra art that I've done.
Love how I can orchestrate music to play in one part of a home and then it can play everywhere.
Me and you both, Panda. It kind of gets me inspired. Yeah, Panda, exactly. Exactly. Steve, how are you? River, I mean, I don't know. There has to be. I mean, I'm just drawing a page, and a person just kind of does it however they feel like is the best way to do it. But is there a specific name for this beyond I'm just drawing a page? I guess you could call this the, breakdown pencils, where you're putting everything on the page, kind of figuring out how everything's going to go. It's not finished pencils. It's not thumbnails, which I have separate. It's just, I don't know, breakdown pencils, maybe? Yeah, whenever I erase that beautiful blue pencil, we cry. Well, some of us cry. But to be fair, I don't erase all of this because I do a light box, so these blue pencils always stay here now. I will do a light erase over the blue and then do blue again that's tighter.
Relax and let Smith's Pickup handle your grocery shopping this week. We start with only the freshest items, then choose your
The king and his men stole the queen from her bed and bound her in her bow.
Mellow, hey man.
The seas beyond
That Dick Tracy thing you were working on looks spectacular, dude.
No sun had died in sun alive, another sail of the sea, with her keys to the cage.
You're using non-textured gesso, so it's making the gouache move differently. Or so I saw you drew it, and then it looks like you inked it, and then are you painting over the inks as well? Am I seeing that correctly? You glad I pronounced those words? You talking about gesso and gouache? You know, Mello, I was looking at your inking on that thing, and I was kind of zooming in on it, and you do an inking style that, when I think of comic book inking, I think of artists that use, the Hunt 102s or brushes and get those sharp, crisp snap lines. But you ink in kind of like you're a painter, like you're almost brushing on the ink in like a painterly style rather than putting these razor sharp precise lines, if that makes sense. I've flirted with doing stuff like that when I ink some of my stuff, trying to get different textures and things like that. It's nothing like as good as what you do, but you kind of have a painterly approach to your inking, which I really, really like. Eggman, how are you? Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much. Literally building up to the big fight. Everything's building up to the action scene. So ratcheting up that tension. It's all about building to the climax, right? Just work on it repeatedly and focus. And then suddenly there's an explosion. It's a powder keg waiting to go off in an explosion of unacceptable behavior. Eggman, you've been posting some pretty awesome art, man. I'm kind of glad to get to see some of it. I know you've been talking about working on stuff, but I don't know that I'd ever seen it. Mello, using the inking stage as an extension to the painting because you don't always ink your work. Yeah, I kind of figured, like, I would figure most people would pencil, then just go straight to painting. But I've seen you do inking, and it's looking really, really good. Um, that Black Panther one looked amazing. Like, all of them look fantastic, dude. Egg. Well, your stuff looks great, Eggman. Like, like I said, I don't remember if I'd ever seen your stuff before, but when I did see it, I'm like, oh shit, this guy can draw. This is awesome. Not that I doubted it, but I could see it. Stephen Robb provides tunes delectable to the ears, art delectable to the eyes, and conversation delectable to the mind. It's a threefold stream. I don't know if it's all that, but thank you. Jerry, what's going on? Mello, I'll show you right there. Egg, I guess, I assume you don't mind if I showed your Instagram so people could find you. Okay. So there you go, Mellow. Egg test tube 76. But yeah, I was checking out this art. I'm like, damn, dude. Says marker died on the final lap, but heck yeah. Panda, I laid those characters down with a quickness. I did some work at my drawing table. You've got all the panels roughed out. Jerry Gaines, a friend's mother passed this morning. Oh shit, dude. I'm sorry to hear that. That super sucks.
With yearly Prevector Quantum, one injection at your vet protects against fleas and
Same thing. Her dad passed away from about a decade ago. I'm sorry to hear that, Jerry. Rob is awesome to watch work. Well, I don't know about that. Again, thank you guys. I guess part of the, lack of a better term, appeal of watching me draw, at least in this stage, is like Panda was saying, I tend to be quick. So it's not like I'm noodling around on the same face for 3 hours. I tend to move through it quickly so you can see progression. So maybe that's part of an appeal, if there is any. Saboteur, what's going on? Rachel Brinkley, hello. If you could throw down shit that fast, you'd be so happy. Well, I'm never exactly happy with what I do, so it's not like I'm over here like, yeah. If I'm lucky, I feel like I'm kind of approximating something close to what I had in my head. Sometimes it kind of works.
Get coverage.
Rachel Brinkley, not this is 11 by 17, but it's copy paper. Um, because I'm trying to find an example. Um, for Rachel, so I do the blue pencil sketch on this cheap paper like this, and then I do a light box where I put a brand new piece of Bristol board on it, and then I do a light box final pencil and then ink on the actual 11 by 17 Bristol board. So yeah, and yeah, you asked, am I penciling or inking this? I do all of it. So you can see how I go from this, the blue pencil, and then turn it into a final drawing like that. So yeah, this is just crappy like printer paper. It's not, the nice thick Bristol board. Because I want to do all the figuring out and rough stuff on this crappy paper and save, the Bristol board, the pencil mileage. Which one are you talking about, Mello? This one here? On this page? You like the top panel? I was kind of excited for the action shot at the bottom. But you're not the first one to mention this. Yeah, everyone has their own way. I mean, ultimately the end result is the only thing that matters when you get to the final art. And I know a lot of artists who draw traditionally will just go straight to the drawing board, which I have done a ton, but I've worked out a method on my own that I prefer to do it this way. It's kind of fits what I like to do. Thin out the smoke lines they take away from character. That's a fair observation. I don't know that I could thin them out now because there's so many of them on the page. I don't know how I would thin them out at this point. But it's a good point. Very, very valid point. No, I get you. You're drawn to the building in the first panel, the perspective composition. You're not the first guy to say that about that one. So I guess maybe I stumbled onto something reasonably ish right there. So I appreciate the feedback. Yeah. There's a blue pencil sketch waiting for you? Wait, what? Abimaya. Hello, if I don't know if I'm saying that right. Abimaya Maya. Rachel Brinkley, hello. Camry viewpoint on single character is higher than the other two. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure about that one. That one's gonna take some correction.
We believe the most rewarding wins are when we work like a team. That's why U.S. Bank Smartly Checking and Savings are designed to work together so we can reward you more. That's the power of us.
Emergency? Action Plumbing to the rescue. Anytime.
Sheldon, you step away for a few minutes. I got the page worked in. We were just kind of talking about if there's anything interesting to watch when I'm drawing, at least that I'm moving through the rough breakdown portion of it relatively quickly, so there's always something kind of new to see. It's not just me spending 2 or 3 hours on the same face, which maybe I should to get better, but I'm so fast. You sound like a lot of ladies I've known in my day. Rob, you're so fast. I can't believe you're done already. I'm like, yep, I'm just going on my best time, baby. All right, I'll see you later. I'm like, no, you won't. Effortless? I don't know about that. I appreciate it. You're being very, very kind to my amateur bull crap. I do the scratchy layout version to appear human, but I can draw it out of my head if I wanted. You know, you guys have seen, obviously there's that, what was that artist? Was he Korean? He passed away a couple of years ago, where he just takes a blank canvas and an ink pen and just starts drawing the most elaborately detailed, insanely beautiful, perfect, genius scenes of characters and vehicles. Yeah, Sheldon, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, yeah, you guys, yeah, Mama Balmart, yeah, that guy. I tried to do that a couple times, not thinking for a second I couldn't even sniff his farts. But I'm like, what happens when I go straight to a page with an ink pen and try to produce as finished a drawing in a single stroke as I could? And like, no, it was abysmal. It was the worst thing. It was so like, you see a true, absolute genius. And it's like, I have to sketch things out. I have to sculpt it like almost as if you're sculpting from clay, or you're a sculptor and the figure's already there in the stone. You just have to remove the unwanted bits. I have to sculpt away at these things on pages before I get to that final drawing, which I think most people do, but God, I wish I could just throw it down. Yeah, young kids and sharks and scooters, right? He could do everything. Like a true genius. Rachel, you drew a shitty RoboCop while watching a Graybeard's draw stream. Hey, a shitty RoboCop is better than no RoboCop, I always say. Dave Sim said, you've got 300 bad pages in you. It's up to you how long it takes you to do them. That makes perfect sense. I've heard I don't know if I've heard that exact specific quote. I think I've heard at least variations of it, but Yeah, you got to put in so much time to start getting to a place where you're probably starting to feel like I'm starting to get it, maybe. So, yeah, Dave, you're right. Steven says, listen to Egg. No, it's impressive. I mean, again, thanks, guys.
As just a sound guy getting music through the Sonos speakers.
I'd buy that for $1, I always say. Me too. Didn't I hear they're trying to do a RoboCop remake now? Because, of course, they are. Because what else would we do? Egg, you got to have something to look at, even if I'm not drawing the same body position. I need some anatomy to look at. That makes sense. Mahmoud Baumart, you can do ink first if I'm doing some study drawings. And that makes sense, especially if it's just intentionally supposed to be kind of sketchy and rough. But, yeah. But to be able to go to finished drawing. Yeah, Sheldon, I know they did that RoboCop remake, but I feel like I heard that they're trying to do another one. I really wanted to like that new RoboCop movie, and it was just like an okay sci-fi movie, sort of. They missed the point entirely of the original. Rachel, a TV series too. I know there was some kind of TV series, or there was. Was there a TV series, or they were working on a TV series? Now I'm trying to remember. You'd think a RoboCop TV series would be really hard to do, considering budget limitations. But yeah, that remake, like, they missed the point so bad. Like, oh, you guys. All the cool special effects in the world, and there were some. Remember when they made him into RoboCop, and they like took his body apart piece by piece in the lab, and it just showed the guy down to just his head, his lungs, and his heart beating, and his hand. I thought that was actually legitimately disturbing, and I was like, okay, that's really creepy and messed up. But that's about the only thing they got right. Yeah, Rachel. Rachel, you're my new best friend. If you like RoboCop that much, I mean, because heck yeah. It's like this violent satire, but it's also got some real human moments. It's this strange balance that only Paul Verhoeven was able to strike in that era. What with Total Recall and Starship Troopers. Verhoeven made some weird, awesome stuff. Egg, you've been inking and coloring on top of my sketch. You don't have the time to use a light table. I get it. Yeah, using reference versus tracing is very identifiable. Greg Land, for real. Greg Land's stuff was hyper. It's so stiff, but he made a career out of it somehow. Rachel, you saw in the theater. You were 12. What year did RoboCop come out? Was it 87? Because I was 10, so I'm not that much younger. '87, yeah. So I was 10 years old. So I probably didn't actually get to see it until like 2 years later. Because they didn't seem to, I don't know, they didn't seem to get him out into home cassette very quick like they do now. It seems like, I could be wrong. And then who knows when my parents would have rented it on VHS. And I kind of doubt they would have let me watch it. So it might have been a couple years later after RoboCop had actually been out. Because my parents, for the most part, tried to be like, no, you can't watch this, kids. This is a bad movie. This is way too violent for you. But of course, with most weird parents, they're like, no, cover your eyes. You can't see the titties in the scene where it flashes by him for 2 seconds. You can't see that. The deplorable violence where they blow a guy's a hand and arm off and shoot a hole in his head, that's a little bit more okay to watch. Rachel, one of your best movie experiences? Hell yeah. Concrete. Steve, your younger brother had you draw a sketch to send to Eric Canetti to redraw for a board game he's designing. That's awesome. Yeah, TV series so PG compared to Verhoeven's exploding. The blood squibs. I remember when I got to see the like director's cut version of the Edward 209 scene where he shoots the guy in the office, and there's like an extended version where he's like laying on a table and Edward just keeps blasting, and his body is just exploding in squibs everywhere, just nonstop. I thought the original version was harsh. Okay. Everybody, whoever likes RoboCop, I have to bring this up every time that I think about it, just in case anybody's into this. Rachel, I don't know if this is going to interest you, but a couple years ago, some fans made a scene expanding on the scene where RoboCop went out on his first day on the job, and the part where he shoots the guy in the dick between the girl's legs and the dress. But they did a whole version that's expanded on that, where he just gets swarmed by a bunch of street thugs and they all come out with their dicks out, and he just stands there just shooting everyone in the dicks. Not joking. Like, there's one scene where it's an overhead shot looking down at him, and RoboCop's standing there with his arms spread out side to side. And he's just walking in a slow circle, just shooting, blowing away like these fake explosive rubber dicks on these guys. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen that they went to this level. So I'm not suggesting anybody should go out and search out a video with a bunch of exploding dicks if you don't want to. But if you like RoboCop and you've got a sense of humor, oh my God, I cannot recommend it enough. It's one of the most silly things I've ever seen. It's done like shot for shot. It's perfect. You can obviously tell it's different actors. But yeah, I couldn't believe it when I saw it. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Somebody had like the most perfect idea. Obviously, you're not going to find it on YouTube, but if you just type it in like a Google search, RoboCop fan made dick shooting scene. I don't know. Y'all can probably find it. I would love to hear anybody with any kind of feedback come back and be like, "Hey, I watched that, Rob. I'm actually in therapy now. Thanks."
Charlie Puth, the Whatever Summer Tour. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Man with the left,
There's a parody of a parody with Sledgehammer as RoboCop.
Who installed these door sensors? What you all are doing is unsafe here. You could have hurt my sons. That's why.
You know what I thought was some of the Sledgehammer was a parody of Dirty Harry? That sounds familiar. I think I might have seen some of that. Maybe. I honestly feel like RoboCop 2, which obviously is not as good as the first, gets kind of a bad rap. I actually think it's a pretty good sequel. There's some legitimately brilliant parts. The part where they're showing how they're trying to do RoboCop 2, and it's like introducing RoboCop 2, and it just brings out all these clunky, non-functional versions. The one where the robot just walks out, pulls out his gun, shoots his guy to the right, shoots his guy to the left, and then puts the gun to his own head, shoots himself in the head. He leans over, and then his little back siren lights turn on and start twirling. Oh, it's the funniest thing ever. Sheldon, the RoboCop Terminator team up. Is that animated one? Because I showed that on my channel a while ago when I first saw that. Where they just shoot everybody. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Again, lots of funniest things I've ever seen. RoboCop 2 is a travesty. No, it's not as good as the first one. I agree. But I don't feel like it's 3 is awful. 3 is terrible. Yeah, 3 is. Yeah, the kid drug kingpin in RoboCop 2. That is dumb. The drug nuke. And I did like the big final bad guy robot at the end of part 2, or the second movie. It looked like a big robotic kind of like football player, really beefy up top and little spindly legs. The toys for RoboCop 3 were probably the best. That's funny. I didn't even know there were toys for RoboCop 3. I mean, it makes sense. Isn't it funny that there's an animated show for RoboCop in the first place, where the first movie was such a hard R-rated show, not for kids? It's kind of like how there was a Rambo cartoon, where Rambo's just this violent murderer. I mean, he's not a murderer, but he's killing people. Love the 80s. God love the 80s. We'll make a R-rated show that kids cannot go see, but we will make toys for them. Yeah, I like Edward 209, Enforcement Droid. I love that first original version too. That voice on Enforcement Droid, he's like, "You are illegally parked on private property. You have 20 seconds to move your vehicle." It's like he's going to kill you. He's going to unload with his machine guns if you park on their parking lot at their building. You'll die. It's so funny because it's so stupid. Yeah, Frank Miller wrote the screenplay for RoboCop 2. I'm pretty sure he hated what they did to it and was one of the reasons he stayed out of Hollywood. There was going to be an Alien cartoon? Hell yeah. How do you spend millions on government dollars and not test it out walking down the stairs? I just figured Edward 209 would never think he'd have to actually go up and down stairs. He's just supposed to walk the streets and shoot criminals. You are now in violation of penal code so and so, so and so. I am now authorized to use deadly force. Doodle-doo-doo-doo. All right, here's a question. Who would win in a fight? Terminator or RoboCop? And if you say anything besides Terminator, then you're crazy. Because I've heard this debate multiple times, and I don't know how anybody could pick RoboCop to beat Terminator ever. Steven, if you can guard the building, but if you make it in and up the stairs, Ed 209's like, well earned, citizen. That's really funny. But yeah, the Terminator would kick the shit out of RoboCop. And I say it mostly because, yeah, in fairness, RoboCop has the human spirit. Fair. But I'm like, RoboCop is this slow, lumbering tank who just kind of like slowly walks around. Terminator is like a fast, agile machine with reflexes way better than RoboCop. I guess it depends on the situation. Does RoboCop have a giant gun? And does he get the drop on Terminator? I'm not talking about like RoboCop sniping him. Like they face off, face to face in a punching match. I'm like, Terminator rips RoboCop's nuts off in an instant. RoboCop walks slower than an elderly person. Terminator versus Predator, that's more interesting. I mean, if the Predator just fires his, whatever they call it, his plasma caster and just blows away the Terminator, then done. But it'd be interesting to see a Predator get shocked by, like, this human being is actually really strong. Both RoboCop and Terminator have titanium chassis. I think Terminator would just look at RoboCop and just punch him in the jaw. And then game over. That'd be interesting to watch Predator try to rip out the skull spine trophy of a Terminator. He's like, what the fuck is? Starts ripping the skin apart to find a robot under there. That's fair. Predator winning over the Terminator. That's possible. I see that as more possible than RoboCop. Black tie. Running just as fast as they can. Let's ever go crazy about a sharp dressed man. Alien versus Terminator. I'd give that one to the Terminator because the Terminator would just think that it's just a big lizard animal and he'll just rip its head off. I guess it would just depend on if he survives the acid drop. Acid drop. Would the Terminator hunting a predator work for Weyland Yutani? Probably. We're all building our own fan fiction coolest movies ever. Optimus Prime wins, everybody. Because he's Prime. Of course, I guess it depends on which Prime we're talking about. If he's the one that drives into battle with the song You've Got the Touch playing in the background, he beats everything. I will accept no debate otherwise. Yeah, G1, of course. Optimus Prime dies. It's only because the writers were stupid that he died. They're like, the kids don't care. Just kill him. They'll care way more about Rodimus Prime. Got some news for you, sir. The kids did not care about Rodimus Prime. I do, if they knew how popular Prime was, he wouldn't have died. But in a way, I kind of like it because it's one of the most dramatic moments and one of my favorite parts. Like, I don't want Prime to die, but the fact that he went out, like the Autobots were in a horrible position. They had lost the battle for Cybertron. They were just kind of on their heels, it seems. And then Megatron makes this big push, so they got to push back, right? But then fucking Unicron comes on and starts just destroying everything. So it's like we're literally in their darkest hour, and this is like horrible. Everyone's dying. And Rachel, I'm talking like the general public. I kind of liked Rodimus Prime too. He's a different guy, but I didn't dislike him. I thought he was kind of cool, but I'm just speaking in the broad kind of consensus. He never was going to live up to the Optimus Prime mantle. Terminator versus Gremlins. Love Airwolf. I love the theme song to Airwolf and the helicopter. Those old 80s TV shows had the greatest theme songs. Knight Rider, Dukes of Hazzard, Hill Street Blues. Gremlins versus Commando, Elite in Small Soldiers, if we're talking about Joe Dante films. Joe Dante made some great stuff. Didn't he make Explorers? Yeah, A-Team. Yeah, there's a lot. There's so many great themes. Yeah, the A-Team. If you need them, and you can find them, the A-Team. That A-Team movie was kind of ridiculous, but it was kind of fun. So Explorers was his first big movie? Really? I love that movie. It doesn't get a lot of remembrance in the 80s movie pop culture kind of mindset, but Explorers is great. I love it. It's so weird, but it's great. It's got that weird 80s magical charm. You like the Airwolf versus mashups? I've heard some versions of stuff like that that are really cool. He was editing Explorers when they kicked him out of the editing bay? That's some bullshit. But yeah, it works. It is kind of a strange thing to have this like sci-fi mystery going on at the beginning of the show, which I love, and then the kids somehow with this beamed information to their brains build a structure that they encase in that energy ball that lets them fly out into space. Then they're on an alien spaceship and they meet these weird alien creatures who just turn out to be kids that are a couple of goofballs wanting to meet other aliens themselves. And then the giant dad shows up. What the hell kind of movie was that besides really, really awesome?
When we hit the pothole, I was worried we'd be stranded for hours. Rachel, critters would get fucked up by leprechauns. Hell yeah. Yeah, X-Men cartoon underrated. Yeah, I feel like they had really good stories. The animation wavered in quality big time. But yeah.
Rachel, did you like the new X-Men 97? If you grew up with that and dug it, I thought it was pretty dang good for the most part. I feel like some people go overboard with like how unbelievably perfect they would say it is. I'd say it had moments of brilliance and some moments where I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't feel like anything was garbage, but Werewolf versus Frankenstein in basketball. Oh, you'd have to give it a shot, Rachel. If you dug at all the original X-Men cartoon, I do recommend it, especially episode 5. That was where they reached peak like build up storytelling, getting your ducks in a row, payoff, emotional consequences. I was like, "Oh shit, don't anybody spoil it for her." That was like, "All right, you kind of got me." Like, "All right, this is awesome." And it's nice that they got as many of the original voice actors back as they could. GoBots were, yeah, I used to watch them as a little kid.
The branded. A digital frontier. I tried to picture clusters of information as they moved through the computer. What did they look like? Ships, motorcycles, with circuits like freeways. I kept dreaming of a world I thought I'd never see. And then, one day, I got in.
All right, Dave TV, you keep calling me out on what I'm doing here, so I guess I got to explain it to justify it, and then I can get some feedback on it. But I'm getting the pages in order if you're wanting to understand what's going on in the story. I'm trying to get out relevant pages for explanation. Rachel, I don't watch a lot of anime. I've seen a couple of animated movies, but I can't really speak on anime. Not an expert. All right, these are kind of the important pages to build up the story to where we're at on the current one that I'm working on right now. Let me adjust this up so we can see sort of everything-ish. These are not all the pages, but relevant pages. Starting towards the beginning, we've got these team of bad guys. They're getting together, setting up to go on a mission. They're after somebody. There's some conversation back and forth. They're bad guys, but this guy's kind of the leader of the bad guys. He's a little crazy, and they're kind of having a conversation back and forth. These guys don't trust him, but we have to go on a mission. So they're like, okay,
So teleportation portal opens up. The four of them go in their portal. This is where you get a side shot of each character, and all the names of each one of these characters is going to be listed so we understand who they are. It's going to be like a bold-faced font, like a logo for each character, because this is kind of the introduction of them. So these guys are on the way. And then there's a couple of pages that build up the introduction of these two characters, but these two, they run into each other. They know each other. He shows up. Of course, I'm doing the obligatory hot girl in the shower scene, but he shows up and she's like, I don't want to see you. I'm sick of everything that happened in the last issue. He's like, yeah, I know, but I'm here because I know that someone is on their way to get you. And she's kind of stopping me like, wait, what? Why is someone coming to get me? And then cut to outside, across the building, across the way, silently, Ninja Guy is standing there waiting, observing. Close up on him. Cut back to the guy and the girl. Again, a lot of these pages aren't finished. I haven't put backgrounds and stuff. But she's dressed, and they're kind of talking back and forth about what's going on. She doesn't believe him. He's like, look, I know you don't trust me, but this is what's going on. So they talk back and forth. She makes fun of his headgear that literally looks like a couple of erect robot penises, which is a joke, which is the gag. And he's kind of pissed off. He's like, these are highly sensitive, sophisticated equipment. She's like, they look like robot dicks and you look like a joke. So he's like, I'm sick of this shit. I'm trying to help you. But then his alarms go off. He's like, oh shit. He's got this early warning system. So he grabs her. They run. He's like, holy shit. We got to run. We got to go, 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 go now. So they jump out of a window. Boom. The entire building that they're in explodes. Just detonates around them. They land on the ground. They touch down. He saved her life just barely. Giant explosion. So then we cut to those four bad guys that we saw at the beginning. These guys, Kill Snap, War Horror, Laser Fag, and Tumor. They showed up. They're there. And the guy, he's got his hands charging because he's the one that blew up the building. He shot his lasers. He blew up the building. And the guy's like, I told you to do a warning shot. I didn't tell you to blow up the whole damn building. He's like, whatever. See, these guys are a bunch of idiots. But they're like, whatever. All right, well, let's go see if they survive. So now the bad guys jump down into action. They're going to go try and get the two guys. But also, we cut back to the two guys. They're picking their asses up. They're on the ground. They're like, holy shit, I wasn't expecting that. They turn and look. And Ninja Guy, who was on top of the roof, he's down there. And so Ninja Guy, he's actually there. The joke that's, or the joke, whatever. It's this story's got like humor in it. It's kind of a parody. Because our hero, he's there to save her. He's like, I know somebody's after you. And so Ninja Guy shows up. He's there. And so she's like, well, what the fuck, you know? And the Ninja Guy's like, I'm not after you, girl. I'm after him. And they're like, oh shit. Okay, Ninja Guy's after the guy. Well, who was after the girl? After this page, see, she's turning here. You know, Ninja Guy gives his explanation. So girl, she turns and looks behind him with a look of shock on her face. She's like, oh shit, what now? And so the bad guys, the four of them who are jumping down in this panel, we're going to get a big splash page of them standing there in standard 90s style, standing there flexing, saying, we're here to kick your ass. And so now these four bad guys are going to fight these two, but these two are also fighting the ninja. The ninja is also going to be fighting these four bad guys. And the ninja can like mass replicate himself, kind of like ghost ninja versions of himself, except he can make them in various sizes. There's going to be like little 1 foot tall versions of them, but like 50 of them running around. There's going to be like a couple 50-foot tall versions of them. And when they throw a throwing star, it's going to be the size of a garbage can lid. So people are ducking under that. So it's going to be just this insane over the top fight. And with these two kind of caught in the middle. So that's the story of what's going on here, if that makes sense. The end. And hopefully when it's all put together and inked and lettered and put together, it'll all flow into kind of like a hopefully equal parts funny story, over the top parody, with also kind of some awesome, fun action stuff that is exciting and fun. We'll see what I can put together. We'll see if I can make it work. Well, the name is I'm looking for something to write on. The last part of his name, it's LAZERPHAG, and it's an acronym. It's Photonic Hyperatomic Guns. It's just some bullshit that I made up. But, and part of the dialogue between the characters is he's actually going to be worried about his name. Like back on those first pages, he's like, my name is stupid. I'm going to get yelled at. No one's going to get it. And like, oh, shut up. No one cares. But yeah, it's an acronym. And so what I was going to do, my idea is every time he shows up and anyone ever says his name, I'm going to do that thing where, like, you know, somebody calls out his name and they say, it's Laser Fag, right? But I'm going to put the little asterisk by it and a little box down below that explains the acronym. Like every time. Like no matter how many times, it's always going to be repeated just so people like hopefully get the joke. And if they don't get it, I'm like, I'm kind of don't care. We're not here to be serious about anything. And I believe me, I did kind of go back and forth in my head. I'm like, am I going to get yelled at for this? I'm kind of like, fuck the people who don't have a sense of humor. I'm like, I'm just going with it. People can fucking kiss my butt. Yeah, it's got to have the detailed logo every time. It's LaserFag asterisk Photonic Hyperatomic Guns. Yeah, I thought about that. 3 pages end with her in a shocked look. She is kind of the innocent person out of the group who's being dragged into this bullshit. Am I repeating myself? Yes. Will I look out for it in the future? Yes. It is what it is. Not changing it. Of course, this whole story is a continuation from book 1 that I'm finishing up. And, oh yeah, here we go. From the original story where she showed up briefly at the beginning. There she is there with Kill Snap and the giant robot. Of course, this battle all ends pretty quickly for all of them. Well, I don't know, Concrete. I might be getting myself in trouble, but I kind of want to do it just because of the idea that somebody might tell me I shouldn't do that because. So it's a play on words. It's an acronym. It's a joke. I'm going with it. See, this is the build up to the kind of the story, because the girl in the story that we started out with, she's here. She's got the bow and arrow. That's why her superhero name is Bow Bitch. But the robot and the other guy get taken out. This is where she gets slashed across the face, and she gets a scar on her eye, which is what she has in the pages that we're looking at now. But right here, this is the guy, and that's her. And they got her at Barrel's End, but he's like, go away, get lost. I know you were hired to hunt us down, but I'm telling you to go. But he's like, if you get lost, I'll let you go this time. And she's like, okay, deal. So she takes off and she leaves, and we don't see her again. But the main guy in the next issue, he goes to check up on her because she bailed on the job. She's in trouble with the people that hired her. So now he's got to protect her. So that's what's going on. No, you're fine, Concrete. It is. Believe me, I get it. Dave, great practice combining some very advanced techniques with shading perspective and foreshortening. Well, thank you. I mean, you're giving valid critiques and feedback, which I need to hear, and I appreciate it. I don't make any illusions. I'm no professional. No one's hiring me, so I just make these for myself. They're never going to be perfect. I just do the best I can and just move on and just keep going. And try to see what I can come up with. Of course, these are all inked by Chuck Gibson, formerly of Image Comics and Wildstorm fame. So he's inked all of these. Yeah, Sheldon, I took the easy way to draw the bow with the string instead of using the Ultra Tech reverse magnetism bow. Well, part of the gag, and you're right, Sheldon, is she has the bow and arrow, but he literally cuts the bow and the string in half. And it's going to be something like, we don't have bows or strings on our bows here. You know, he's going to say something to that effect to her to drive home the joke of the Liefeld type bow and arrows that never have a string. Thanks, Egg. I appreciate that. Yeah, you said this in a Mitch stream. We're all mediocre and just keep going unless we're Brian Boland, then we're just born great. Yeah, that's exactly right. No, I actually didn't do things like that. I didn't lean into the obvious visual gags. Well, then did you have 0 swords, then 2 swords, and then 1, and back and forth? Of course, this all hinges on the fact that the character got a part of him cut off and dropped in a jar, and they ran off with it. Thank you, Rachel. I don't know about that. I'm doing my best, or I'm trying to learn, but I'm not, like I said, no one from Marvel or DC would ever hire me, and I have no illusions, and that's fine. I'm just trying to tell the comics that I can, the way I can before I'm dead, or something happens and I can't. So I'm just like, just make them, just go, just have momentum, have movement. And that's the kind of thing that I shout out to people. I'm like, it'll never be perfect. You'll never be as good as you wish you were. You'll never be as good as the people you idolize. But if you just sit around and let it sit in your head, you'll never have any forward momentum. So that's what I say, like, for better or worse, this is what I did. This is what I got. Oh, that's an adult page. We can't see that one. Yeah, make the comics you want to see. Yeah, like I said, it's never going to be perfect. I know on my channel I pick shit apart big time. Sure, people could pick mine apart 100%. Not acting like it's perfect. It's just I want to tell these stupid stories. I feel like I've got some ideas that might be interesting, and I want to share them. I want to do them. So that's why I'm here drawing this shit all the time. You'll be happier that you made your art, even if you're disappointed with it. You'll be happier that you did it, even if it's not great, rather than let it sitting in your head forever, never being realized on any level. And even if you make it and you don't love it yourself, I bet you show it to somebody else and they're going to say that's the coolest thing they've ever seen. I guarantee you that will happen with somebody. Somebody will look at your stuff and go, holy shit, how did you learn to do that? You're perfect. You should be working for etc., etc. And then we're all just out here going, I'm kind of okay. This shot that Chuck is inked, this version of it, he made this shot of the face look so good. He nailed it so perfectly where the guy stabs him in the brain with the sword, drops him dead. Chuck nailed that shot. It looks so good. I bet I could find it here. Let me look up. Rachel, you'd be drawing if your shoulder yet tendonitis. That sucks. I'm sitting on my ass on this chair. There's the big splash page of the guy getting punched that Chuck inked. That's almost like the center page of the whole book. Like, really nailed that one. But let me scroll back a little bit. Oh yeah, there it is. So this penciled shot that I've got right here. Here's the inked version that Chuck did. And I just love it. I think he just nailed it. I know, Sheldon, I'm working on it. I'm trying to get there. I finished writing the script for the pages last night, actually. Yep, I got the script for, yep, Commander. It's Excessive Force and the Text-Based Raiders. So, yep, this is all script for the issue. So now I can start lettering the pages and getting it all put together. Mep, what the fellatio? I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I don't know. Chuck seems to work pretty quick. God damn shit. Fuck. God. Almost dropped my other phone here. But he put in a lot of time on him. I finished penciling this thing like 6 months ago. So he was putting in time getting the inking done. Like, I love that hand, that close up of the hand. He was just going all out in that one. Thought he nailed it so great. But yeah, I'm working on it. I swear. I promise. I would say, Dave, that that's kind of fair. A good inker can make a bad penciler look better, but a really good penciler can be really fucked up by a terrible inker. You know, good inks can't fix bad pencils, but they can make okay pencils look even more elevated. But yeah, if you got great pencils from a master artist, you hand it over to an inker that sucks. Yeah, it could get ruined. Oh, this is another adult page. You guys can't see that one or that one. But she does get blown up. She's the bad guy. She gets blown in half. The guy literally stands there, his blood and guts just streak across his face. And then they walk off into a teleportation sunset on to the next issue, which is what I've been working on tonight. So, but yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. This is about the 2-hour mark. So I'm done for the night, guys. Thank you, everybody. Dave, thank you for your feedback. It's really, you're correct. And I appreciate it very much. I really, really do. But yeah, I'm going to bounce for the night. Get off this seat. It's killing my butt. But everyone who's been around, Sheldon, Rachel, thank you for stopping in and watching. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that. That means a lot. If the pages kind of convey the story without words, that is a big deal. I try to at least do that part. So I appreciate it very much. Egg, thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Sheldon, everyone again. Concreto, Mr. Pritchard. Okay, I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it.